Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to our episode. So this is just a continuation on mental health. So the first episode was based on the mindful meditation. Then I did the video, the mental well-being. Today we're going to look at the coping mechanism. I'm going to give practical example and the benefits as well. So the first heading, as usual, we're going to look at the types of coping mechanism. Then the second part, we're going to look at health coping mechanism. So we have two types. The third point it will be on the unhealth coping mechanism. After that, I'm going to give a quick summary at the end, as I usually do, a quick conclusion, as I usually do in all the episodes to sum up each video. So are you ready, ladies and gentlemen? Tighten your belt and let's begin. So today we are going to talk about coping mechanism really. So as you can tell, I'm not a big fan of physical, so I will usually go on the physical, mental and the spiritual level. In my case, I usually focus on the mental, then the spiritual level. So in that case, we're moving away from physical, we're on the mental level. It is all about coping really, mindfulness, self-awareness, and coping resilience. So in the case of coping mechanism, we have like external and internal challenges. In that case, they say as within, so is without, as above, so is below. So whatever goes inside the body, it's going to appear outside of the body as well. If it is disease, if it is acne, or if it is just spots. So it's just an indication really to show that something is wrong inside the body. So as within, so is without. So in the case of coping mechanism, it's all about mentality, your mental and the mind, the emotional side as well. It's all about mental and emotional balance, trying to find equilibrium instead of swinging from the past to future. You want to be in the present moment, living the moment. So as we have like two types as well. Some coping mechanism can be healthy side, on the healthy side. The other one can be unhealthy mechanism, so which people use really in the case of stimulus. Like we want to feel better maybe in the moment, in the present moment, like mushroom. So it's all about focusing in the long term instead of looking the short term really rewards or benefits. So are you ready, ladies and gentlemen, on coping mechanism? So in the case of coping mechanisms, these are strategies people use to deal with stress, anxiety, or difficult emotions. When you're feeling stress, anxiety, you feel trouble mentally. So whenever the mind is troubled, the body also will not find rest. So this mechanism help individuals manage external as well as internal challenges, offering way to maintain mental and emotion balance. So in the case of emotions, it's all about the psychological side, because psychology is the study of the mind and emotions. Whatever goes inside the mind, that's all about psychology really. Psychological warfare is something like that. So coping mechanism can be either health or unhealth in that case, with the former contributing to personal growth. If it is unhealthy side, it will contribute to personal growth and well-being as well, like in the case of mindfulness, self-awareness, self-realization, self-knowing, while the latter, in the case of unhealth mechanism, may exacerbate really the problems, or increase really, or trying to exaggerate the problem. So we're going to look at the first heading, the types of coping mechanism. How many types? I'm going to give you just 3 types. So the first one is a problem-focused coping. So this mechanism focuses on addressing the source of stress directly. You want to go to the source of the stress directly. They aim to change the situation that is causing the problem. So the example of that, let's say a person facing a deadline, a tight deadline at work, may prioritize or time management their tasks, break them down into small parts, and create a schedule to meet their goals. In the case of an elephant, you cannot eat an elephant in a day. So in the case of prioritizing, really you want to divide it into small segments or small parts or small bits, so that you start doing the most important one first. So the benefit of that, like problem-focused coping, reduces stress by removing the stressor. In this case, the stressor acts as the root cause of the problem. Removing the stress itself, increasing feelings of control and achievement or purpose in life when you focus on the problem itself. So the second type of coping mechanism is emotion-focused coping. It's no problem emotion, it's no problem focused. This is the second, it's just emotion focused on the mental side. So these strategies help manage emotional responses to stress rather than eliminating the problem itself. So in this case, we want to manage only the stress or response to stress rather than removing the root cause itself. So it's like the same example which I gave, in the case of doctors, most of them treat symptoms and not the diseases. When you're feeling headache, maybe you can put the ice, cool it down. Maybe you can drink paracetamol or Panadol. So in that case, the headache, every headache does not mean it is a disease. It just may be the symptom. Feeling heat, it just the pressure really building up. That's when you say feeling headache. Maybe migraine, maybe something feeling the front, the sides, the back. Different types of headaches. The emotion side is like example, emotion coping mechanism or emotion focus coping. The examples that, let's say after breakup, someone might talk to a friend for emotional support or practice mindfulness to calm their thoughts. So in the case of after breakup relationships, instead of going through emotion trouble, really, you might talk to a friend, a close one, really, to give you some emotional support, or practice mindfulness if you want to be in the present, to calm your thoughts or their thoughts. In that case, you want to focus in the present moment instead of thinking about the past or what happened. So the benefit of the emotional focus coping helps individuals regulate their emotions. In the case of regulating, you want to avoid the pendulum swing from past future, or past present, and you want to be present in the moment. So providing relief from immediate emotion stress as well. There's the second coping method or mechanism. The third one is the avoidance coping. So this involves, in the case of avoidance coping, it involves avoiding the stressor, avoiding the real cause itself of the problem or the emotions associated with it. So you want to avoid the problem, you want to avoid the emotions as well, you want to forget everything. That's the third one, avoidance coping. So a quick example of the avoidance coping mechanism is like a student may procrastinate studying for a difficult exam by distracting themselves with social media or games. In that case, the student thinks he's doing something good. But in the long term, so we have to look the benefit of that. Like in the case of short term, it provides relief by removing the immediate stress. But in the long term, it often leads to more significant challenges, like cramming in that case. When cramming is like you want to study or everything, you want to understand, you want to understand the whole subject in the night before the exam. There's all about cramming, trying to read over it, going fast. You think you're studying, but it's not productive. In that case, you can be cramming or miss deadlines. In that case, because this cramming, really, you can miss a deadline. You can just do things in the case of doing. So in that case, necessity comes first. When you have to think about necessity, it's all about prioritizing. So you have to think, is it social media or the games more important than school? So is it good to avoid them, to play games or to go to social media? So in that case, necessity, you have to understand what is necessary in your life and then do it first. That's all the basics of prioritizing. So our second point would be based on the health coping mechanism. What a health coping mechanism which you have to follow. So the first is exercise. So engaging the physical. In the case of physical, it's all about the corporeal, the body, trying to improve the physical body. Engaging physical activity is an excellent way to relieve stress, improve mood, and release endorphins. In the case of endorphins, we say those are like the body's feel-good hormones, the hormones which makes you feel good. It's not the case of dopamine, like feeling happy or starts laughing. Or the endorphins just make you feel good. There's all of us like physical exercise, like running and things like that. So we want to sweat the body really. We want to make it more relaxed, removing all the stresses. So a quick example of that, of exercising, let's say a person feeling overwhelmed may take a brisk walk, go for a run as well, which can be good, beneficial, or practice yoga to calm their mind and refocus. In the case of yoga, that's like the practical side of meditation. In the case of meditation, you can just sit down and close your eyes. But in the case of yoga, it's all about sketching yourself, like feet up or down, maybe different positions, like yoga sutras and things like that. So a quick benefit of that, let's say regular exercise reduces stress, boosts self-esteem as well, like that's why people go to the gym, and improve overall mental health as well. In the case of including physical benefits as well. In the case of gym, it's not too bad. But today we live in the generation of bodybuilders. What do I mean by that? I mean people put more focus on the physical exercise, forgetting that the mental is above the physical, just as the spiritual is above the physical. There's mental and the spiritual as well. But exercising is not bad, but not too much of anything is not good for you, nothing in excess. So that's why I'm putting more emphasis on the emotional or the mental side, the psychological side, instead of just focusing the physical side. So even in the case of war, they say war is not won in the battlefield. War is won in the case of diplomacy. Those who sign the first, you might be winning the battlefield, but if someone comes and sign first, declare that they have won on the paper, then they will be the winners. So it's all about diplomacy as well in the case of war as well, which means using the mind, not just the physical on the battlefield. So the second example of a health coping mechanism is like mindfulness and meditation. So I've done the video on mindful meditation. It's all about being present in the moment. So instead of just focusing on the past or the future, you want to be present, really self-aware of your own environment, of yourself, your body. So mindful involves focusing the present moment, helping people detach from stresses or their problems, or in this case, overwhelming emotions. So you want to detach from overwhelming emotions. You want to detach yourself from the problem itself. A quick example of that, practicing deep breathing exercises during a moment of anxiety or frustration can help lower stress levels as well. In the case of mindful meditation, it's all about practicing. You breathe in through the nose, you hold your breath, then breathe out through the mouth. So it's all about when you take deep breath, 1 or 3 deep breaths, you're going to feel the stress being relieved. When you're feeling the pain here or here, when you breathe in, and when you breathe out, you release the pain as well, or whatever the stress you're feeling. That's what I did in the mindful meditation. So you have to go on the YouTube channel and check my playlist on the self-help, self-realization. That's where I'm putting this video also will go. That's where I'm putting all the videos on the emotion level or mindful meditation or coping mechanism as well. So benefit of mindful and meditation is like these techniques improve emotional regulations. In the case of regulations, improving the ups and downs. So swinging maybe happy, sad, gloomy, or things like that. You don't even know whether you're happy, whether you're sad, past, future, and things like that. You want to remove the pendulum swing, the ups and downs. Promote relaxation as well. You want to relax yourself, doing something which you love, which we did in the mental health video. And increase self-awareness. In the case of self-awareness, when you start knowing yourself, you body yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually, or physically and mentally, your emotions, controlling emotions, that's when you can reach the spiritual level as well. So the third example of health coping mechanism is like social support as well. In the case of social, it's like socializing. Instead of being introvert, you want to go out being an extrovert, meeting other people. That's all about social really. It's all about meeting others. So seeking support from friends, that's all socializing. Family as well, or support groups. In the case of support group, can be like a productive WhatsApp group as well. Allow individuals to talk about their problems and to receive guidance or encouragement. In the case of guidance, you might have some negative thoughts, suicidal thoughts, and things like that. When you visit friends, family, or supportive groups, they'll give you some guidance, really, whatever they know. In this case, in our 21st century, you can even go on YouTube, watch motivation videos, inspiration videos. So they'll tell you to keep pushing instead of giving up. You have to keep pushing. That's how life is. When it knocks you down, you have to wake up, you have to stand up and keep pushing for tomorrow. So a quick example is that, let's say when struggling with work pressure at work, reach out to a colleague or friend for advice can help like enlighten the emotional burden or difficulty. When you reach a colleague or friend at work, it will help you when they give you a productive advice, which will lighten the emotional burden as well, remove all the emotional burden. Whatever you're feeling, all the negativity, all the difficulty will go away as well. So benefit of that is like social connections provide emotional security and they help individuals feel less isolated in their struggles. In this case, we said by feeling isolation or feeling isolated, that's when we start to seek association with others. When you feel isolated inside the heart or inside the mind or deep inside, that's when we start to seek association with others. Maybe it can be a phone call, calling a friend, an older friend, if maybe boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe wife, children, and things like that. That's when we want to link in or go outside at the park, want to see other people. So the fourth example of health coping mechanism is time management. So learning to manage time effectively reduces stress as well. In this case, we want to remove procrastination, which is the major drawback whenever it comes in everyone's life. Time management. When you you don't know how to manage your time, procrastination is always the result, especially when juggling like with multiple responsibilities. Example, let's say a busy professional may use a planner to schedule tasks and allocate or assign time for breaks. So you allocate different times to different tasks, prioritizing, which is all about time management. And at the same time, you have to take small breaks as well. Let's say work 25 minutes, then 5 minutes break. I say that in the mindful meditation. A quick example of that. So go and watch the first video, which I did on the playlist, and then we'll come one by one. So ensuring they stay on track without feeling overwhelmed. In this case, you want to remove, you don't want to feel overwhelmed really, which is all the result of stress, which is always the result of feeling anxiety inside the body, inside the mind, or inside the heart. You know, if you're feeling restless, that's all about overwhelmed. So benefit of time management is like minimizes feelings of being overwhelmed and helps an individual maintain a sense of control over their workload. In that case of workload, like Monday to Friday, so you feel stressed, like you have only 2 days of rest, Saturday and Sunday, or let's say weekend start on Friday. Maybe you want to go on the Saturday with friends as well, and the work is still waiting for you. So the third point, we're going to look at an unhealth coping mechanism. In the case of unhealth, these are the ones which you have to avoid, which are not good for you in the long term. So the first one is like the substance use. So some people turn to alcohol or drugs to numb, or in this case to forget their emotions or escape their problems. Instead of facing their problems, some people would like to substance use, drugs, alcohol as well. So make you forgetful only in the short term, not in the long term. While this may offer like temporary relief, it often leads to more significant issues like addiction or health problems. It's not only like alcohol and drugs, even like smoking as well. It can be strong smoke, mushrooms, people use LSD. So the second one is like isolation, which is a health coping mechanism. Being isolated is not good. In the case of isolation, it's all about solitude really. So withdrawing from social contact when overwhelmed can worsen feelings of loneliness or depression as well. So when you're feeling loneliness or depressed, it is not advisable really to isolate yourself, because the negative thoughts might come and wear you off and take negative actions or take impulsive actions. Instead of meeting with friends, can be on the phone, through phone, or socializing, my family, productive groups, WhatsApp group. I keep putting my emphasis on that as well. Not just going on WhatsApp group just for chatting and sharing opinions. Like, you have to go there to learn something and teach whatever you know, helping those who are difficult as well. So you don't know whatever people are being faced on, like on life. So that's why they say don't laugh at someone. Whenever they're succeeding or whenever they're failing, try to give them a hand, helping hand. So while temporary solitude can be useful for reflection, prolonged isolation often deepens emotional distress. In this case, solitude is not bad. So in the case of geniuses, I said solitude is good for you only if you know how to use it. For some people, it can be a disadvantage instead of being advantage. For people who knows how to use their time, in the case of time management, solitude is best for you. You can sit down, relax, being present, being self-aware. You meditating the time when you're alone, instead of doing something bad behind the closed doors. That's all about the benefit or the disadvantages of solitude. So what can we say, ladies and gentlemen, about the coping mechanism? Or in this case, we have come to an end. We want to give a quick summary at the end, just as we usually do, or just a promise at the beginning of the video. So in the case of a coping mechanism, ladies and gentlemen, it's all about the types of coping mechanism. The one, you have to know which ones you're using. Is it useful? Is it helpful or disadvantage? In this case, is it healthy? Is it unhealthy mechanism which you have been using or which you are planning to use in the future? So in this case, you have to avoid all unhealthy one, because you have to focus in the long term and not in the short term. So it's all about the benefits of prioritizing, the benefit of the management. That's why the majority of people get caught. That's why majority of people become procrastinators. Even when it comes to business, you have to avoid procrastination, because you might hold yourself behind when it was supposed to become an opportunity for you, and then you lose the opportunity. So you can only see the opportunity when you've got the ability to see it, then you'll see it. The opportunity is useless without the ability. Ability also is still useless without having an opportunity in the first place. But since you have got the ability in the first place, it is so easy for you to go on and create your own opportunities. So in summary, ladies and gentlemen, coping mechanisms are essential for navigating life with challenges. We cannot leave them behind because this is on the emotional level, on the mental level. It's all about the mindset or your mentality as well. Developing healthy coping strategies such as exercising, which is our corporeal, physical side, mindfulness, which is a mental side or the mind side, and social support enable the individuals to handle stress more effectively and build resilience. In the case of resilience, it's all about coping in difficult times, becoming like the broad phoenix, rising from the ashes. Even when the world knocks you down, you have to rise from the ashes. Even when you're feeling down, everyone laughing at you and things like that, you come like a phoenix, you rise from the ashes and prove them wrong. That's all about resilience, really, coping difficult times. On the other hand, relying on unhealthy coping mechanism or habits such as avoidance or substance, in this case we said alcohol or drugs or smoking, substance uses may provide a temporary relief but often leads to long-term negative consequences. In the case of a substance, it can be useful just to give you a relief in the short term, but in the long term, it is harmful for your health in general. So identifying which coping strategies work best for you and refining them over time can make a significant change in your mental and emotional well-being. In this case, ladies and gentlemen, we have to think and focus on the long term, not in the short term. Even though it's something give you a relief in the present, but you have to think in the long term, in the future. Is it going to give you some relief, or is it going to become addictive, then ruin your overall health in that case? So we have to focus in the long term. So they say the future, in the case of planning for the future, you have to start today if you want to plan for the future. The future is planned today. That's why you have to start the coping mechanism. So ladies and gentlemen, the best advice is to focus on the health one and avoid unhealthy coping mechanism, because you don't want to ruin yourself. You cannot tell when you become addicted. You need help. In the case of needing help, you cannot fail in the hope of finding someone in the future will come to help you. It is so rare to find someone to help you. It can be too late as well. So as usual, ladies and gentlemen, just as we started, I think this will be the end as usual. Don't forget to go on my YouTube channel, check out the playlist on the self-help, self-realization, on the spirituality, which is all about esoteric knowledge. I've got videos on the financial decision makings, investing for beginners, business work plan, and really everything, because I said it right on the 5 desires, which is love, wealth, health, power, knowledge, and wisdom. In the case of knowledge, that's why. In the case of wisdom, that's why knowledge is put. It's just the knowledge put into practice. As usual, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and keep sharing, because we want to monetize and reach more people. So have a great day. Ciao.